What a glorious day in May. What?
That's why we're taking the rest of the day off and going to Capital City. Goodbye, everybody.
I wish, buddy. It is a perfect day in Tallahassee. So hopefully it is wherever you guys are watching. Always appreciate it. Thanks a lot for listening. Thanks a lot for supporting what we do. No, the reason to celebrate today isn't just that, hey, look, Jeff Cameron show's on. No. It's that Sunday came and went, Tom, and there was no more portal news to be had.
There was a small whisper, and then it just went away.
Dissipated.
Does everybody want to know what the whisper was?
Sure.
But you can't know it. Forget it.
Oh, I wanted to know it.
You know what it was.
I was desperate to hear it. I don't know what it was. Hey, here's the good news. We're all set, man. We're all set. It's fun to kind of exhale. If you take inventory of what just took place in the portal, I think you did okay. You know, there's some guys you'd rather have than not have. It's always the case. Well, maybe not always. But it's I think you got off here. You got off all right here. You got off not scot-free, but pretty close. You did all right here. You know, whenever I see this is a new aspect, a new facet of our job, to sit around and have to kind of monitor that thing, because we do videos constantly for it. You and I did the Travis J video. My heartbreak of having to do the Travis J video over the weekend.
Oh my goodness. That was fun.
Broke out the candles for it.
You broke out the candles, and then also the list of names of people that went into the portal. You put two players next to each other in that list that just cracked a smile. Even the people in the comments of the video love that one.
Yeah, those two players. But, you know, we named, what was it, 7? It's the 7 that have been. Is that right? And, you know, I was like, all right, so if you say those 7 out loud, it's not terrible. You're all right. You know, nobody's like, no, not those 7. So now we go to see what happens, and you know, I think your team is set. That's what you're most excited about, except for you're going to go out and get, I think, Florida State will, a couple grad transfers in all likelihood. I think that's what's next for Florida State is you're bringing people in, and you'll get a couple grad transfers, and I'm going to guess that one of those, without question, is going to be a safety, because it has to be now. It does. I know Ira wrote about it for us on Warchant.com. You can go over there and check out his story, how Florida State is going to, try to work around where they are with the safety situation. And, it's a lack of depth. That's a fair way of assessing it. They do lack depth at the position. You lose Travis J, but remember, prior to Travis J, you lost Duke Cooper. And I don't know if it was going to work out for Duke Cooper. There were no signs that it was going to work out for him at safety in the spring. I don't think he really took to the move, didn't like it, clearly. And on down the road he goes. Travis J, again, they tried. They gave him a healthy sample size to get out there and get after it, but didn't really work for him. And he didn't take that next step that they were hoping for. I think that they will always lament that a guy who coming in had those measurables and it didn't work out. And I don't know if it ever will for him. I am rooting for him. I hate to see a guy blessed with that kind of talent not have it work out for whatever reason, and unless they're bad guys. And, you root for people to do well. I think he was victimized by some moments where he failed to make a play when he had an opportunity to, and it began to pile up. And then he lost all confidence. And lost confidence for an athlete is the death of that athlete. They have no chance. I don't care how gifted you are. You could be an elite golfer, an elite tennis player, elite baseball, football, basketball, you name it. If you stop believing in your own abilities to get the job done or to make a play, you just won't. And I think that happened with him.
Yeah, it's a fragile thing. It's more fragile than you think it is. Well, yeah. But when you push past it, it's, of course that happened. 4th and 14 does not happen without Ja'Kai Douglas bobbling a football down the sideline and coming away with the catch. If he doesn't in that moment, we lose to Miami, and that fundamentally changes the way we discuss a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just like in the Jacksonville State game. Who was it that was wide open? Was it Keyshawn? I forget who was wide open early in that football game.
Missed him, yeah.
You make that catch, you score the touchdown. Yeah. This is not a concern, dude. It never was. It's a thing that never happened, but the line can be that fine. And I agree with you, confidence-wise, you just need that moment to break through, to push through. For Jordan Travis against LSU, it might have been the first third down conversion. Who knows? Whatever it was. But from that moment forward, the rest of that night, he looked great. And he took off all season long. So with Travis, it was there. The ability certainly was there. And if somebody can unlock it at some point, good for him, because he's got it in. The potential has always been there.
So I would assess this time where we all hold our breath regarding the portal as a success. I dubbed the spring of hurt feelings one that would see departures. We would see guys enter that portal. We knew that there was competition, heated competition throughout the roster. And you thought all that's going to lead to affirmation for somebody, disillusionment for somebody else. And I thought, frankly, we would lose more. Florida State would lose more players than what they did. I thought they were candidates to lose maybe a big name or two. That didn't really happen. I thought that they were candidates to maybe lose or force certain guys out the door that they didn't. So I would have looked for like 10 to 13 guys is what I was guessing when we started spring. Certainly over the 7 that you see here. Now, again, you can categorize these guys differently. You can look at these guys and say, hey, well, some of them were probably in the exit interviews told this is their best course of action. Others, you might have been caught by surprise. You might have thought, oh, well, I didn't know that was coming. I didn't think that guy was going to leave. Thought he would be back next year, and there was a position for him. There was a role to play for him. But again, one of my favorite phrases, unfortunately, but I gotten better at it. It's not the crutch that it used to be. By and large, Florida State did very well for themselves.
You don't say that very often.
I used to all the time.
Oh,
I caught myself when I go back and listen to the show. Yeah. You take turns on the wheel of crutch.
Absolutely. It's infuriating.
Yeah, it is
infuriating. In terms of, used to be a biggie for me, and that's my John Tortorella crutch, because that's all he says.
Well, we all do it. You all find it. Then you go back and, damn it, man. Hold of yourself. No more. Not for another month.
Everybody in the industry said from a blank standpoint for about 2 years there before everybody found workarounds.
Well, the worst of all time in my lifetime, there's been 2, and this is just a verbal crutch for kids or anybody. Anybody. You hear it all the time. Like is number 1 on the all-time list. Like, etc. It drives me bonkers. I never really suffered from that. Probably because it bothered me.
Yeah.
And I had to say to my kids numerous times, it's not like anything. It either did or did not happen.
I don't say it very often myself. My oldest sister did. In the early 90s, that was a big thing. She was the one that went here to Florida State. I guess it was contagious at Osceola Hall.
It was contagious everywhere. But also, I would tell you that the other one was, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. The current one, and this is in my wife's company. Sometimes I hear those video calls because they're remote, most everybody. They all do the right at the end of a sentence.
Oh, right at the end of it, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's important, right? No. You have to scratch that part at the end.
Well, you can grab the AP book and just be like, shoo, 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 slash.
Like you thought they were going to with the roster a little bit more.
I thought they would.
Bathe it in garnet ink.
Yeah, I thought they would. Daniel asked this question. Jeff, curious, since Duke Cooper is no longer here, did you see the initial injury that he suffered in last fall camp that caused his worsened play? Heard Corey mention it vaguely as an oddity. I don't know if Corey and I would be referencing the exact same thing. He is gone, and we can talk about it now. He did, and I believe, Tom, you were there too, come up.
I don't remember this. Now, I remember it being remarked on consistently that he's dealing with some things, quote unquote.
Yeah, he came up lame. There was a situation with his foot and his ankle.
And that was the coaches saying he's dealing with some things. Yeah, there might have been a day where he walked off, but it's not etched in my brain as, oh man, there's the moment. I don't look right as to play on that. I don't look back at that situation last fall and say this was the moment that Duke Cooper's career changed forever.
Well, and here's the hard part. You can't know. Because what happens with guys, we're not allowed to talk about it all the time. And Daniel, thanks for the question. We're not allowed to talk about it all the time. Guys, football's a brutal sport, just like hockey's a brutal sport, whatever, any physical sport like that where you're beating on each other, for lack of a better term. Guys come up, with a limp or a stinger, that sometimes they'll have to sit out a rep, gather themselves, get the wind knocked out of them. You kind of don't know what it is. Usually they're gathering themselves. The trainer will go over. Now, I was there when Trader went down, and we knew he was in real trouble. I mean, he wasn't able to move. They had to bring the cart out at the time, and you knew that was going to be knee surgery.
I was not there that day.
I was there that day. That sucked. He was pulling, and when he went down, I realized, well, he's done for the year. I mean, some injuries you look at, you're like, oh, that's that. Not good. I'll tell you what, since it's in the rear view and it worked out fine, we were in the indoor practice facility when Johnny Wilson went down. Not long after he arrived, after he had been very impressive, and we went, really? Can we just not have nice things?
I believe.
Are we not allowed to have nice things?
I believe it was Corey said, can anybody fall without hurting themselves?
Yeah.
Every time somebody went to the ground, be it a defensive back or a wide receiver, they were always hurt. Always.
I was so angry because it looked bad when he went down. I went, he's done. He's done. But by the end of that practice, he was back and he had a brace on and he was all right. And I thought, oh, man.
He was pissed. Excuse me. He was pissed in the moment, too. I almost coughed as I said that. Emotion rushing to the surface. But when guys are angry after the injury, that is usually an awful sign because they know that something is deeply wrong.
Yeah.
And he was that way. I thought, son of a gun.
Well, if you think back on it, Jordan Travis was that mad against Louisville. And he was pounding on the turf.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And you thought your season was over in the moment. Sometimes it is just a scare. You've talked about one with your hamstring or your.
No, I got rolled up on it. It was I am football.
Yeah, and you thought, oh man.
I actually it wasn't.
You just paused, right?
It wasn't a yelp, but I was like out of fear because I'm just waiting. You know that there's a pause between the issue and the pain.
Yeah.
So you just wait for the pain, and you're just kind of bracing, like here it comes. It's going to be a bad one.
You got lucky.
Let's be steely. The pain never came. I got up and I apologized to the other team. And the ref said, that's okay. That looked pretty gross. I'm glad you're walking. I was like, okay. So it wasn't just me.
Your body knows it's in an awkward position. It sends an emergency signal and everybody's like, hey, don't twist more.
It's a panic. Yeah. It's a panic instinct because you're pinned.
What's the worst is when you watch kids who've never really played and then it's their first interaction in a violent sport. What becomes the norm? The hits, right? The getting your bell rung, whatever it might be. I'm not talking about concussions. I'm just talking about getting your block knocked off. Not every hit leads to a concussion, but you might be like, whoa. But you the first time that happens to you, you're like, Jesus.
Yeah, in hockey, it was the shins and the wrists. They take a beating. I mean, my God. Even with the pads on, you'll see stars the first time you take a good to the shin.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you're like, okay, it's just the price of doing business.
I bring this up all the time, and I was trying to explain it to my son who's playing football at Leon now, and I said to him, I go, look, if a boxer gets hit in the face, he takes a step back and then gauges when he can deliver his next punch to you. You hit a stranger in the face walking down the street, they go down if you got any kind of a punch to you. They're not used to getting hit. You gotta get to a point where you get used to being hit, and then pretty soon it's amazing the kinds of hits you can take. I mean, and that's what camp is oftentimes about, by the way. When you get into pads, those first few hits, you're like, damn, I forgot how much this hurts. By the end of camp, you get blown up, you're laughing.
That's low-key one of the best parts about Grand Theft Auto is playing that game. The people surprise you. Every once in a while, you'll hit somebody and they'll stand to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see some dude who's jacked out of his mind, and he just goes down.
My favorite is you get a running start, you hit him, and they do the straight down. He is knocked the hell out. I would go back to Duke Cooper and the question that was asked. I really rooted for that kid to figure it out because there was real promise there his freshman year. At the end of his freshman year, you thought you had something. And it really just goes to show you never really know. People develop at different paces, and it's strange. You might see a flash of something that you think is going to lead to consistent play. Other times, you don't see a thing, and you don't have any evidence to that end. And then a guy proves you wrong, the lights turn on, and he makes a play. You just don't know. And so for Duke, it worked in reverse. He made some plays, and you thought, here we go. And then from there, I don't know if it was injury or what it was, but I also think that had to do with some confidence issues as well.
I think that's the cautionary tale when it comes to Fentrell Cypress this year is last year in both camps, we assumed that Omarion Cooper was going to be one half of the field locked down. You could just set it and forget it.
Yeah, we did.
Let's worry about what we can do with the rest of the pieces. And it didn't turn out to be that way. So much so that by the Louisville game, we're rooting for him to be off the field during the watch along. Why is he on the field when he does come out there? I think he was because of injury in a couple of plays. But that's where you just are uneasy until you see it in a game, one way or the other. That tale has happened too many times when it comes to that segment group. So hopefully for Duke, it clicks for him in Colorado. They keep getting our cast-offs. These are 3 good gets. Gant, McClendon, and Duke Cooper. From Colorado's perspective, awesome. Oh, raises the floor, and it could be a huge home run in each case.
Well, and it's all relative. I mean, it is a great get for Colorado. If I were Dion, I would try to get as many cast-offs from Power 5 teams as possible. If you looked at that roster, it was a nightmare. They didn't really have the requisite talent to compete. So I don't begrudge Dion any of that. I mean, there are other things that I have a real problem with Dion, but it's not that. He should try to get any of these Power 5 teams cast-offs, unless there's a behavioral issue or criminal issue or something like that. If you can get guys that just maybe weren't good enough to play where they were at, but they were at a place like Florida State, or they were at a place like South Carolina, or they're at a place like North Carolina, or where, yeah, man, Colorado didn't have good players.
Well, but there are some players on this roster that even now, even still, if they got them over in Colorado, you'd say, good luck, man. Good luck with that. In each of these 3 cases, these are good football players that are going to make you better.
They're going to make Colorado better.
Yeah. Colorado, yes.
Yeah.
Given Colorado's situation, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if Duke makes them a lot better. But yes, but given what they had.
And the highlight reels that you saw in spring practice of receivers making plays, I think that this is an improvement. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll go from there. There's a lot to catch up on that happened over the weekend. I shall do it next. Let's go take a cursory glance across the board. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Trucking accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
At Pinch A Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Pinch A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Real talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk Station. Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Then you've got a wide open set of circumstances. And once again, a reminder that hockey's crazy. Boston suffering from the President's Cup curse and sees an all-time, quite literally, great season, the greatest, points-wise, go the way of the dodo, as in it is no longer relevant. Doesn't matter.
I don't know what's worse, getting swept if you set a league record or blowing a 3-1 lead after you set a league
Losing
record.
in 7 in overtime at home is a toughie.
Blowing a 3-1 lead and having a 1-goal lead with 60 seconds to go. And the best part is the TNT bug. Did you see it screwed up beforehand?
Yeah.
It said goal 10 to 15 seconds before they had to pull it off the screen.
Yeah.
I turned to my wife. I said, could you imagine if TNT calls this and they actually, and then Brendan Burke goes, score!
Yeah.
Yeah. This is amazing.
It was a lot of fun to watch. I was wrapped in the NBA playoffs and Steph's performance yesterday. I will say this, and, you can say whatever, roll your eyes at me if you want. Watching Steph yesterday was so thoroughly enjoyable, but I was rooting for Sacramento. I really like that team and I like that story. But one of the reasons I like that team, besides De'Aaron Fox, Luke Laux is with them, and I've been in contact with Luke quite a bit, and we've been talking through these playoffs, and I'm going to try to have Luke on now that their season is over. But, it was fun to kind of watch while it happened, and then to see it go in that manner. I'm a big fan of watching transcendent players do their thing and bearing witness to all-time greatness. Steph dropping 50 on the road in a Game 7 fills the role of transcendent player doing an all-time great thing in a moment that it had to happen, because that game started and Clay didn't have it, and you watched Steph go nuts, and I went, oh, poor Sacramento. Oh, poor Sacramento. It's not good. When you start to see, that's a bad feeling when great players are in their zone. We watched this happen when Michael Jordan used to do this to people famously. And you see it register, like there's a moment where things begin to slow for them or their shot is falling and they feel it and they give that look to their teammates. If you're on the other end of that, it's a helpless feeling. I think about Washington's run through the NHL playoffs on their way to a Stanley Cup championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's possessed Ovechkin, yeah.
Watching Ovechkin be the best player on the ice every night and dominate the game in every facet, both ends. You're like, well, this guy's just decided, screw it. I'm going to get a Stanley Cup. I'm getting one. And there was nothing anybody could do about it. It was nuts.
He might as well have been screaming as he was skating through every shift because he was playing that mad.
It was unreal. It was something to behold. It reminded me of, I don't know, Madison Bumgarner with the Giants. I will win this World Series by myself. I'll hit home runs. I'll pitch back-to-back-to-back games. I don't care. None of you are going to hit me. I'm a big, strong man in the prime of my career. I'm going to get this World Series. And he did. And you're just like, well, okay. And Jordan, of course, did it a ton of times. But it was funny to watch last night. Yesterday afternoon, I should say. I was like watching Steph go. And because both Bryce and I were rooting for Sacramento, seen enough of Golden State. We wanted Luke to have success. Now, Luke won 2 championships as an assistant there in the organization with Golden State. So he's got rings. I'm not worried about it. But, you know, he's kind of been elevated now in a different position with Sacramento. And that town has been starved for anything that resembles decent play. And they got it this year. It also was a reminder that if Sabonis is facing a real center, he has no chance. He got bitched every time down the floor. It was really uncomfortable.
I'll take your word for that one.
Okay, well, it was. It was very uncomfortable. Just Looney was grown man, 20 rebounds, absurd nonsense. It was just something to watch.
If you want to know about Alex Lafreniere, I got you.
You got me covered there. Yeah. No, well, we get an all-time classic rivalry that begins tonight, Philadelphia and Boston, and that Phoenix-Denver series, Game 2 is also tonight.
And you got a Game 7.
And you got a Game 7
in Jersey.
That's right. It'll be fun to watch tonight. Yeah, see, you're not devoid of your sports thirst, like being quenched. You have an opportunity here. By the way, the 2 best records in baseball play each other starting tomorrow, the Pirates and the Rays.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. The 2 best records in baseball collide.
Where is that series?
It's in Tampa.
Ooh.
I would have liked to have gone down, didn't make plans to do so, because I'm going to admit to something. I did not project the Pirates to have the best record in the National League at the time that they would be facing the Rays, who has the best record in the American League.
Saw a number today, could have it off by 1 or 2 on either category, but you have, I think it's 41 stolen bases and 34 home runs.
We will run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Pirates are a fun team to watch play right now. It's really kind of weird. Bunch of guys that were average players have become good players all of a sudden, and the good and there's been the fountain of youth potion that McCutcheon's drinking, because he looks like the guy that was with us in 2012.
When you're happy where you're going to work every day, it changes things, doesn't it?
Florida State did announce over the weekend they had signed a 3rd player from the transfer portal, Primo Spears, and I think that it should be a law that he is a difference maker for Florida State, because his name is Primo. You have to be great.
And Spears while you're at it.
Correct. You are required to come in here and save this program.
All I could think of is analyze this. Sit down, Primo. Sit down, Primo.
Primo Spears, who comes in from Georgetown, chose the Noles over Kansas. Okay. Spears started all 32 games this past year for Georgetown, averaged a team high 16 points per game, shot just over 40%, nearly 41% from the field, 79, almost an 80% free throw shooter, 5.5 assists per game, played 37 minutes a night. Team sucked. Team was terrible. But he did his part. His teammates shot woeful from the field, so his assist numbers could have even been better. So we'll see. We don't know if it's a guarantee that Primo Spears will be eligible. We got to wait on that.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Well, it's his 3rd team in 3 seasons. He spent his first year at Duquesne, then went to Georgetown, and is now here. It's kind of like what we're doing with Daryl Jackson. You know,
and they'll find a way to say that Baba Miller can't play the first half of the season again. So get ready for that.
So we have to wait and see what's going to happen. Now he could always fall back on the "my coach got his ass fired" waiver request. Patrick Ewing did get fired because of the aforementioned 7-25 campaign for Georgetown.
Young man, why are you trying to go to another destination? My name is Primo Spears. Granted.
Yeah.
Granted. Okay. Primo. Go
so
for it.
We'll find out what happens with him. The NCAA has not always been kind and ruled in our favor in the way that we would have liked on these things. But that's 3 guys now. So they're efforting. They are efforting. I worry.
3 guys, RIP, some of the best pizza in Tallahassee. There's your random thought on a Monday.
I forget when were they here?
Throughout my era. They predated me, but it was on Tennessee, right down the road from AJ's.
So my problem was that I had already exited that side of town many moons ago, and so I never had their pizza.
3 guys was legit. I also had $5 buckets of Coronas.
$5?
$5 buckets at 12 to 4, 12 to 5. Yes, sir.
The rest of the draft played out, and we say congratulations to Jamie Robinson, who didn't go to the 5th round. That's not a complete surprise. He was projected anywhere between the 3rd and the 5th, and he went in the 5th, and he was unhappy about it and made mention of it.
Good for him. And I saw a succinct way that one NFL draft analyst had put it, and it might have been a scout, I don't know, but it said that his film suggests he's a top 100 player. It's the measurables that held him back.
Well, he ran a slow time, period.
It's the classic case of film versus combine, and hopefully he proves that film is correct, that film wins out.
It's the hard question that scouts and coaches ask themselves all the time. We do it too as fans. Okay, I'm watching this guy play football. He plays football very well. This is a game. He is playing in the game.
Against a team I've heard of.
Yeah. He's making plays in this game that are of vital importance to that team's success. He is a player in the Power 5 doing these things. Now, we get to the combine. He runs a 4.59. Ooh, 4.59 undersized. This is a problem. What do we do with these measurables which scream, don't draft him? With this video footage that suggests he's a really good football player. Well, what they did was draft him in the 5th round, and that's the hardest part, man. It really is. And I get both sides. When you're in love with the player, you'll say, yeah, but did you watch him play? If you don't want the player and you think another position is needed and you're in that same argument with your friend, you're like, 4.59, he's 5'10", 190. Good luck with that. That's what ends up happening. And we've got enough evidence on both sides where guys that really played at a high level in college and then didn't measure up at the combine went on to play at a really high level in the NFL. Then there have been the guys that played at a really high level in college and then didn't measure up at the combine, and they were basically out of the league in 2 years and never really impacted the team save for special teams. So you have plenty of evidence, and I don't know, that's a great question for a scout. What do you do in that situation? There's got to be an overriding philosophy from the organization. I'm sure it's passed on. But you would have to ask yourself, what do you do when the tape says he can really play and the measurables say he can't?
Draft him in the 5th, and it's a really high upside pick.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking a risk on measurables and no film. I'm taking a risk on a guy I think could play the game, but I just don't know if he can get there in time in order to make the play. I think I'd rather take a chance at the NFL level. I'd rather take a chance on the film than the measurables, because if you have slow measurables, yet your film says you're productive, the NFL is a league of tryhards. Everybody's athletic. Everybody's gifted, but it's about your habits. Jamie Robinson works very hard to be in those positions.
Well, and he's extremely physical. So that part of being a football player travels. Like, that goes with you from every level. If you play football with a high degree of violence, you're already in a really good spot. Now I need you to marry. I need to see the evidence when I watch the film if I haven't been familiar with you. Okay, now I know you have the requisite aggression and toughness to you, and you can play with reckless abandon. But I need it to be, to some degree, obviously smart. I need to know, are you a smart football player to go with? Because if you're missing some of the other things, I have to see that you're making up for it with these other things. And I think Jamie was that, man, because he's so good around the line of scrimmage. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you're not bringing him in because you want him making big plays down the field in coverage. You're bringing him in because you think he can really help in certain down and distance situations, and he'll come up and make a tackle in space.
Most likely first and second down.
Yeah. That's who that guy is. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The tornado that struck and wreaked havoc on the Liberty County community of Hosford has winds reaching 125 miles per hour, the National Weather Service confirmed Friday. The wind levels gave the tornado an estimated rating of EF2. The tornado struck Hosford Thursday afternoon. It left homes crushed, trees downed in the entire region without power. And 2 EF1 tornadoes hit Thomas County Thursday evening, just minutes apart. The first reached an estimated 100 miles per hour peak winds around 6:11 p.m. along US 84 near Greenwood Plantation, was only on the ground for a few minutes. The tornado barely missed several homes in its path. The second confirmed tornado hit at 6:20 p.m. in the Holly Springs neighborhood with a slightly weaker peak of 90 miles per hour. No major damage was reported in that area. Thankfully, there has been no reported fatalities due to the tornadoes, just property damage, downed trees, and power lines. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with highs around 83. Westerly winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows level off around 56. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 83. Dry with temps near average Wednesday and Thursday and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. Well, you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I don't know, the over-under on the amount of times if you were locked into the draft that you would see a story play out that caused the tears to well up a little bit was like 4.5. And I said, like, damn it.
At least you're saying when assessing a number and an amount, not as a verbal filler to get from point to point.
So the point was that we thought, 4.5 for, and I made a joke at my own expense, which is that, I'm older and a parent. That ups the total usually of the amount of times that you might tear up because that's somebody's son. Well, there was a good one over the weekend, and it was the Dallas Cowboys and Chris Vaughn calling Deuce Vaughn his son and letting him know that they were drafting him. And that, I don't know if you saw the video footage of that, but that was really cool because he tried to navigate that without getting choked up and being smooth about it. Oh, my cell phone's dead. Da, 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 da. But how would you like to join me at work? And again, Chris Vaughn is a scout for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in the war room with Jerry Jones and the rest of the gang as they made the call to tell Deuce Vaughn, who had a really good college career, that he was being drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. Kansas State, he was a fun player to watch play. And he goes number 212 overall on Saturday.
Cronyism, nepotism, ridiculous. Reminds me of a certain baseball program in our backyard.
Look here, man. Do you want to come to work with me next week? Said Vaughn, his voice cracking, his son in the on the other end of the line. I wouldn't mind that at all. Pretty cool. So you root for it. In 30 years in this league, Mike McCarthy said, I've never seen anything like that. That was a really special moment. I will say this. When Jerry Jones got on the horn, and of course they videoed that, and he said a lot of nice things and talked about, what it meant for him to be drafted in, and you've earned it. We're not doing this just because, and all that other stuff. I also thought Jerry is getting very, very close to wispy. We are almost there. We are almost on the same plane. Jerry will be exiting the planet in the not too distant future. Jerry is, I'm going to give you.
He could afford one of those SpaceX flights.
What would you give Jerry?
Oh, God.
I mean, Al Davis, when Al Davis reached this point with the Raiders, we'd see Wispy walk in, those 7 strands of hair flapping about. At least he had some flair to him. He still wore the gold-rimmed glasses despite not being young. He was still trying to pimp. And he would oftentimes kind of disguise the wispy with a little bit of a flair for the dramatic with a hat that was kind of hipstery.
I must have missed the era in which those glasses were cool.
They were never cool.
They always looked to me like an old grandmother fan of the Green Bay Packers would wear those glasses.
Then that would be cool. If an old grandmother was wearing those glasses, you'd go, very well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way to go, Marge.
Yeah. Marge is killing it. The sun blinding on a Sunday afternoon at Lambeau. You got the way it reflects off the ice.
Oh, my. It's so bright out here.
So that,
oh dear.
Yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, with Jerry, it's every time. I don't know why. I'm taken aback every time I see him. I just saw him a few months ago at the end of the season or whenever, now you look at him and you go, oh, Jerry, the darkness is upon you. It is right around the corner. It's waving at you. It's Michael Myers at the end of the block when they turn around and see him looking over the hedges.
That's the original.
That's the original. Like they just see him in the mask and then he's back. Yep. What was that?
Then in the laundry with the sheets out in the backyard.
Oh, woo, gives me the willies. By the way, go harken back. When those kids on Halloween, it's still broad daylight. Early in that movie, right? Still broad daylight. When they're walking to their house from school and they're about to turn into the little gated area there, and they turn around and see him.
Yeah.
Because he's huge. And he's standing behind that shrubbery, that thing, and he's standing there and they just see him and then he ducks back. No, man.
Yeah, I know.
No chance.
And also the organ hits hard at that moment, which is what drives it home.
Yeah.
That movie's nothing without the organ.
It's really good. That movie's really well done. Everything about it.
Piano.
Yeah. Every time I see it, though, I go, oh, no, I'm not trick-or-treating. I'm the hell out of there. There's no chance.
So let me ask you this about getting old as it pertains to your own property. How long have you owned your house?
I've owned our house for almost 17 years.
Okay. When did you start noticing when cars are pulling around your street and block and just they're lingering too long? When did you notice that? Because last night there was a black Honda Civic in front of my house. Literally, you know how it's situated in the block.
Well, it would be weird for somebody to be lingering around where your house is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a very weird.
On the upslope, right square in the middle of my property line for multiple minutes, just stopped and idling. And then it inches towards the other parts of the cul-de-sac for less period of time, but probably 15 seconds per home. I thought maybe delivery driver. It was not. It was just a car lingering around there. I'm all at once taking notes on that because that doesn't look right. We're a dead end of a block.
Ryan just wrote Tom Gran Torino Lang.
I was not sitting on the porch. I was not sitting on the porch.
Muttering at the make and the model.
But I was I drive an Altima. That's not like I'm some hoity-toity guy. But I did note it, and then I did laugh at myself saying, this is exactly what old people do. They stare out their window saying, why is that car there? Why are they out there so long?
I haven't had too much of that. I will tell you this, once you have kids, it doesn't take very long at all for you to be like, that guy needs to slow down. Although I'm not the person, you remember I told the story of the woman that would always think I was driving too fast, even though I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And I finally stopped and said something to her, and it frightened her. I got so mad.
Sure would.
Well,
you don't have a soft voice.
Well, I'd come around the corner. I'm going 20 and a 25. I know I'm near my neighbor. It's right there. I'm just going easy. And she would always give me the slow down signal. Like I was Mario Andretti coming around the corner. It infuriated me. And so for weeks.
I believe that's what Mario did to Norvell last year in the third quarter.
Please, no more. Yeah, she was always walking her stupid poodle, and I would come around the corner.
Hey, the dog's not,
Poodles suck. But I'm coming around the corner, and she's sitting there going, I'm not going to harm the poodle. Of course, I love dogs. I'm just saying, that's a sorry dog. But so she's
an unlucky dog.
She's giving me the slow down every time. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. I was like, next time it happens, that's it. I'm stopping the car. So it frightened her. And in retrospect, I realized why it would. I came around the corner. She gave me the slow down, panicked, like, oh, my God, he's going 20. And I just, after I passed her. So then if you think about it, she was a little older. And so then that car just stops and then back, she sees the taillights light up and back up. I'm sure that.
She's hearing the organ from Halloween.
I'm sure it concerned her a little bit. But I said, ma'am. And rolled down the window, and she looked at me, and I go, how fast do you think I was going just now? And I said it kind of like that.
I'm sure you did. This is why she would be frightened, dude.
And she was too fast. Too fast is not a speed. I was going 20. And then there was just this staring look like, I hope he's going to leave soon. Expression on her face. She never did it again. Remedied. I'm very observant of the speed limits in neighborhoods, precisely because I am a parent.
Yep. Agreed. That's like driving to a golf tournament we were in years ago in Southwood. I'll name it. I'll name names.
That's right.
There's the one block you got to turn down.
Yeah.
And the guy gets in front of my car like super dad.
Yeah.
I am
and
not
asked
speeding.
where you're going.
He asked where I'm going.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
I said, where are you going?
Well, that's my favorite part of the elitism that took place.
Where am I
there.
going?
Yeah, where am I going?
Because I got a beater of an Elantra.
You did.
Yeah, it's my college car. What the hell you want from me, pal? I'm going to play golf.
That was good.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Where are you going? I'm getting out of the car.
What's your favorite movie? Hey, what are you having for breakfast? You have extra? You got more? That HOA, that place.
It was awesome. I remember when you told me that. I thought,
so here, you fascist. You want to see my papers?
That's one of my favorite moments because it takes a lot to perturb you. You're usually pretty.
That affected me for about 3 holes on the golf. I was pissed off through about the 4th tee. Yeah. What the hell what kind of question is that? Where are you going?
You get to the age, writes Ryan, you start looking to make sure people walking their dogs have waste bags. I will say when I look out my window and I see somebody walking down the street with a dog, I do watch to make sure they keep it moving. Because I've been the victim of walking to my mailbox and stepping in and thinking, really? Yeah. That's how we're rolling out here, huh?
Yep.
Not what we do. You got to be courteous. But pull your dog over. What are we doing? Or have a bag, as Ryan points out. But I've never come out of my house.
Wasn't your son in a PSA for that?
He was. That's right. He was very, very little at the time. But yeah, he was in a PSA for that.
I think that still runs every once in a while.
I don't know how in the world we took this right turn, but we did. I went from talking about Deuce Vaughn getting drafted in the 6th round by the Dallas Cowboys and what a tender moment it was that his dad called to old people. Oh, and yes,
partly
Jerry
my fault.
Jerry Jones looking like death warmed over.
Listen to you. If you're in that Honda Civic and you were casing my neighborhood, no, sir.
Keep it moving.
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Keep it moving. It's not a morbid fascination, Briley. I'm just alerting everybody that soon that headline, when you get up over your cup of coffee, just be ready. Like, oh, look at that. Jerry Jones died. Well, Jeff was just talking about this. It makes it easier on everybody. Just ease on into it. I'm here. I've got you. We can see it coming. There are telltale signs. And his is that sort of, well, he's had multiple facelifts. So now gravity always wins, as Radiohead correctly pointed out. You have the situation where the surgery is fading. The gravity is too much. And there's an exhausted look on the face of Jerry Jones at all time. It's the desperation for the Cowboys to win one more title before he dies, combined with the knowledge that the time that he's going to die is hours from now. It's really close. We got to find a way to get that title, Jerry. Hour number 2, forthcoming. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
At Finn Chiropractic. If you have a pain in the neck, bring them to Finn Chiropractic because neck pain, low back pain, headaches, numbness, and tingling can make your significant other or family member very irritable.
This is Dr. Shannon Lord. We developed the Phenomenal Health Exam to get to the cause of your problem. You can schedule your appointment at finnchiro.com. FENNCHIRO.com.
Whether the pain is in your neck or someone else's, come to Finn Chiropractic.
Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like ABC Flooring, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme, or Keith Lawson Services, providing professional services and maintenance for your home's most critical systems for over 39 years. If you need air conditioning, heating, or plumbing repairs, you will receive an upfront written quote, and the job will be done on time by the area's most advanced, highly trained professionals. Keith Lawson Services, Florida license CMC 125456 and CFC 1429-197.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
The NASCAR Cup Series rained out yesterday at the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware. Kyle Larson, the plus 450 favorite in 14 starts at the track. He has 1 win and 7 top 5 finishes. He's plus 125 to finish in the top 3, minus 165 to finish top 5. Defending champion and 2-time winner at the track, Chase Elliott 6-1, William Byron plus 650, Denny Hamlin is 9-1, Kyle Busch with 34 races, 3 wins and 13 top 5 finishes, 12-1. He is plus 150 to finish in the top 5. Braves play a doubleheader to the Mets today. The Braves minus 250 in the first game, minus 111 in the nightcap. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
This report is sponsored by Office Depot. At Office Depot, teachers mean the world to us for all of their support, guidance, smiles, and tears. For the early morning extra help sessions, late night paper grading, and everything in between. Their desire to create brighter futures and make the world a better place is inspiring. To thank teachers this Teacher Appreciation Week and beyond, teachers with a free Office Depot Office Max Rewards membership can get a special coupon for 30% back in bonus rewards on qualifying in-store purchases, including classroom supplies, arts and crafts, cleaning supplies, and more. Now through July 1st, visit OfficeDepot.com/education to learn more. And thanks to the generosity of Office Depot and Office Max customers, the company raised over $2.1 million to support teachers, students, and Title I schools last year. The in-store school supply drive was recently enhanced, and this year will help hundreds of additional Title I schools nationwide. Visit OfficeDepot.com or a local Office Depot or Office Max store to learn more.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roastmaster himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
away, Tom, real quick in that second round, getting the kid out of North Dakota State, who I like.
And those who would know, who have an affinity for it, it's a niche thing. North Dakota State, South Dakota State's the defending champion at that level. But that kid carries 305 like it's 260. He's missing teeth, and he's a redhead, and he held his party. This is what I put on Twitter, but, I mean, it's true. His watch party was at clearly the local tavern.
Which is awesome. I was like, I love this dude.
There we go. That guy is going to be on the Ring of Honor.
Started 37 games, and then he also played left and right tackle and guard, can play all of those positions. I'm good to go with it. Like the durability, all of it. He is 6'5", 300 plus, and a little crazy. Cool.
Came to them as a tight end, converted. I like that too. Means he's got
good
some
feet.
Yes,
Good
athleticism to him.
The Yancey pick was fine. I did laugh aloud that the Yancey pick, however you say his last name, made me laugh because he's a defensive tackle that, and we talked about this last week, but a defensive tackle that played at Pitt. Oh, he must be like Aaron Donald. Easy, everybody.
If he is, wonderful.
Oh, well, if he is, goodness gracious, that'll speed up the timeline for which the Bucs are relevant.
Did you see the tweet from Jim Irsay before night 2 of the draft?
It's always a fun one if it's Jim Irsay.
Brace yourself. He's also gone copper brown. Phil Mickelson copper brown.
Oh, yeah.
With the hair and the.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, I think, tagged us in that.
Jim's a big fan of drugs. Has been busted with them.
I was talking about just for men.
I'm just saying Irsay's a big fan of drugs.
I don't know if copper brown is some kind of code for.
Yeah. Hey, I like the drugs.
Drugs. But he tweeted an hour or two before round 2, hey, Colts fans, what do you think about us taking Will Levis and getting the dynasty of Montana and Young started? So they're not even 24 hours into hyping up Anthony Richardson as the number 4 overall pick that he's saying, hey, why don't we RG3 Kirk Cousins this thing and make it into Montana Young?
Oh, my
start the dynasty.
Gracious. The Will Levis stuff that has leaked out now, we talked last week. I always find this part to be fascinating, and I just wish I could be in the room. There are so many tests that don't get talked about. You always have the 3 or 4, whether they be physical tests or evaluations, mental tests, those kinds of things, cognitive tests, I should say. These things get talked, the Wonder Lake and these things get talked about for years and years and years. And we all know these set of 4 or 5 numbers. And it's really dependent on the position you play. You look at a shuttle time more than you do the Wonder Lake if it's a different type of player, if you're looking at a wide receiver, for example. But the Levis stuff that began to leak out about why he would fall that far. Now, you have to admit, when a player is, in the eyes of some, going to be drafted maybe number 1, could be number 2, no worse than number 4, and falls out of the first round, immediately your spidey senses get moved. Something's up. Something is up. What did they find out about this kid? What got weird was that what they found out was he's just not likable. He's just not a likable guy at all. People are like, yeah, he kind of sucks. The more I read, I'm giving you the consensus on this now. There is some rumor out there that Kuiper floated about his toe, that there was a problem with the toe. This would have already come up.
Kuiper can get you a toe, dude.
Yeah. For all of the pre-draft hype, if a guy's got a physical issue that has some teams scared away, you're going to hear of it. You're going to hear people talking incessantly. The knee could be a problem. They're not real sure. Oh, the shoulder. He's had a couple of shoulder issues. The back. He had back surgery. I mean, there's always, that is the thing, right? When teams won't pass you, others do. Who's right? This great debate. It's the most important position on the field. You heard nary a whisper about a toe going into this draft. Kuiper later on, as the kid's sliding down the board, would they pay him to do him a solid? Well, I heard some toes. Were toe issues for some teams. Toe issues. No, as it turned out, the more people wrote about it, they said in his interviews, people hated him. You want to talk about hurting your feelings. Imagine sitting there, that camera on you all throughout the draft night. You're falling, just steady, falling down the board. The camera catches every time you look over to your girlfriend or your mom and everybody else about what's happening here. And then you begin to read online on your phone. Yeah. Heard he's an ass. Nobody likes him. Worried about the locker room. He's kind of a jerk. That's the worst. That's a personal attack. That's so much different than we're worried about a shoulder. We're worried about, he had the glute. He had the glute in college.
Dumb as a post.
Yeah. when they're like, yeah, man, that guy, those interviews were weird. Not just because he likes to put mayonnaise in his coffee, which he did admit to and thought was funny and isn't. What could you say in an interview that has you projected top 10 fall out of the first round? That's the bit we could do on the air. What did Will Levis say to teams that drove him out of the top 5 to out of the first round?
Usually in that situation, if you're going to shock people the wrong way, it's not with more words, it's fewer words and alarmingly unaware.
That's the one. The alarmingly unaware is what I think is probably accurate here.
It's dropping a hey dude to the owner or something like that. Hey bro, can you get me a refill? It's something like that.
I mean, it will come out. I think it'll come out. I think we'll find out that, beyond he said some really strange things. The eating the banana with the peel still on. I don't even know why that comes up. It's not funny. It's not witty. It's not interesting. It's weird. It's probably not true. The mayonnaise and coffee, I don't know. Whatever. But that didn't seem to me like you'd fall out of the first round.
But if somebody says they have mayo in their coffee, don't you already have this instinct that says this guy sucks?
Yeah, I do. I do.
You can feel that.
You and me, yeah, you can feel the level of annoyance.
Now imagine getting stuck in a golf cart with him in a shotgun.
Yeah,
that's what the organizations felt. That silence. Let me time that. That was about 1.1 seconds. That's what those organizations felt. Ooh.
So what yes, to your point, with any of the players that get dropped in a severe manner because of quote unquote the interview process, I instantly think that there's a lack of self-awareness and or we're going to find out, I think the thing to usually assume is that something comes out where the person said something crazy, criminal or racist or bizarre, right? Something that where you would say, oh, this ain't going to play in the locker room. We're going to have a real problem here. Or the lack of self-awareness in and of itself is enough where you go, okay, this guy has no clue. But seems like that would have also come out at some point. He was a very high-profile player throughout last year at Kentucky, and he was talked about every week.
Yeah. It could be, pick a market. What's a market that needed the quarterbacks? In Houston? Right? So
yeah.
What do you think of Houston?
And then he said something crazy.
And he says something like you'd say about Houston. When the PR team I love Houston. What an amazing city, the way they embraced J.J. Watt. The Oilers back in the
things
day.
What you have to say going in.
Rabid sports fan town, the Astros. This place sucks. These people suck. That might have been his answer in a meeting with the organization where you got to embrace and lean into it. Yeah, your team kind of sucks. I don't know if I want to play for you.
The Jeff Cameron Show PR firm would have we really need to do this. It would be the easiest job for every one of these candidates. There's a way that you yay and nay these questions and the way you answer even the setups. Like teams will set players up to see if you take the bait, to see if you're too stupid to figure out that they were setting you up. But, hey, Will, here's the deal. When Houston interviews you, they're going to ask you what you think about the city. Have you ever been? Will? I'm asking you now as your PR rep. Have you been to Houston?
I'm bored, bro. I'm going to go lift.
I think that was probably the answer.
Yeah.
Bored, bro.
He's the Bryson DeChambeau of the NFL quarterback rooms.
Goodness gracious.
Nobody wants to play with him.
Meanwhile, and I would say this, I thought that Detroit did well to get Hendon Hooker as late as he did. I think Hendon Hooker going in the third round is a good deal for him. Doesn't have to start, has the ACL to deal with, bring him along slowly. Love the guy's work ethic, everything they talked about with how he transformed in his college career, went from not having a clue at Virginia Tech to being very good last year.
He's got a really good and awful quarterback in front of him and the same guy, Jared Goff. So that there's going to be a 3-week point in which Jared Goff is the worst player in football. So there'll be an opportunity for him to get a freebie of a start, see how it goes once he's finally healthy. Perfect. Low leverage.
Right. Mayo and coffee sounds really good, Charlie Weiss. Oh, man.
Jim Rome would have blocked you for that.
I forgot about that.
I'm going to Burger King.
I will tell you that, well, I root for a guy like Hendon Hooker who gets injured that late in their career. That sucked. Seeing him hobbling around in that moment. Damn it, man. I'm just sorry. I'm getting caught up in the chat. I got to stop.
There's a General Zod reference in there.
I saw it. I knew you'd appreciate that.
That's the old school General Zod, not the one that was played by your boy from Boardwalk Empire.
I didn't see that.
You know, the guy with the giant chin, the agent, who ends
ends
up finding the gray area in life.
Yeah.
He plays General Zod in the remake with Russell Crowe. The performance is about as good as you would think it is.
You sound so bitterly disappointed.
Oh, that's rough.
I like that you've always had a thing for the whole Star Trek deal from beginning to
Star Trek.
Isn't it Star Trek?
No, that's a Superman movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. You know, I don't know anything about superhero movies.
But I'm in on
you
Star
are
Trek.
in on Star Trek, yeah.
Yep. I'm in on the sci-fi. We can do the sci-fi game. I'm selective in the comic book world. Not a huge comic book guy. Not huge.
You could sit there and name characters from every one of the Marvel movies or DC movies. Is that the same? What is it? What are the different ones?
Marvel and DC.
I got that right.
You did. Nailed it.
You could go through and name characters.
Not a huge Marvel guy. That's the hot take in today's world. People would drop their whatever.
Who's under the Marvel umbrella?
The Avengers. Right. Guardians of the Galaxy is the best of the.
That's
funny.
I love I only saw the first one,
it's
and
good.
It was good. It was good. It was really good. That's the Groot.
Thor.
Yeah.
Thor's in that.
I don't care anything about Thor. No.
Thor's actually kind of funny because it doesn't take itself seriously.
So Flash is coming out.
Flash is DC.
That's DC.
Yeah.
But somehow that has Michael Keaton as Batman in it.
Because they got alternate timelines. They are leaning heavily on Michael Keaton old school fandom for people to go try and help the DC universe, which is really struggling. Hasn't rebounded all that well since the Christian Bale Batmans, which were good.
Which were really good. That's like the only ones I like. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Who's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the guy who does Dunkirk is doing your movie, you're going to be all right.
He might have gotten Dunkirk because of the Batman movies.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I think that all of the superhero movies, which most of them are terrible and a waste of your time, infantile. But I would say that if you make them really dark, all of them really dark, because it seems to me they should all be born out of some sort of darkness.
That is what DC efforts to do more than Marvel. I would say that's why DC in theory should be better, but I'll leave that discussion at that point.
I'm going to talk some FSU here in a second. There's no easy way to segue that. I'm done insulting all of the superhero stuff. Space and running around, zooming and shooting lasers. That's all I see when I see previews. I'm like, I can't find it. I'm trying to find the darkness.
Well, here's what you can find. The next time that you go to Epcot and you decide to go have a beverage around the world, everybody's got their hot spots in there.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. Doesn't matter that it's a superhero.
But I like Guardians of the Galaxy, which, by the way, seems like a comedy to me.
That roller coaster whoops butt.
What's so good about it? I love roller coasters. What's the thing?
It's incredibly smooth, first of all. Sometimes those things can be herky-jerky and a little painful.
Yeah.
And it just, you don't know which way it's going to go. So it's a very
Get any
unexpected.
upside down action?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it's at. Loop-de-de-doos and upside down.
It is as smooth as you feel like you're kind of floating and flying.
All right, I'm in. You got me. Yeah. I'll do it. Plus, I like that movie. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
Motorcycle accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis or candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're
Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
State players. You saw where Cam McDonald signed as an undrafted free agent to the Green Bay Packers. Wish Cam McDonald well. Always enjoyed talking to Cam. Always thought he looked like an NFL tight end. Didn't play like an NFL tight end here, but had his moments, right? Glimpses here and there. He was one of those guys that if he were just a tad faster, just a tad more consistent catching the ball, just a slightly better blocker, like you could always sense it was right there, barely on the cusp. It really does show you the difference between being a very, very good athlete and an elite athlete. And he was just a very, very good athlete here. Looked the part, really smart kid. hard worker. I've got no problems with Cam McDonald. Wish him well. Hopefully he makes the roster in Green Bay. It'd be a fun place to play football if you could make the roster. The Houston Texans, meanwhile, was it the Texans? No, I've got that wrong. Oh, I know what it was. Miami signed James Blackman, former Nole, who at this point feels like he should be 40.
Well, it feels like every year takes 5 years in that lean time for Florida State. Every year was excruciating to get through.
Felt bad for him. Always did feel really bad for him. Pokey Wilson, by the way, picked up by the Chargers.
We're James Blackman in so many ways. You're right. Because you've got your coach hyping you up.
And you're a freshman who's been out of high school for an hour.
You got the center on the team saying there's something special about this kid before he even takes a snap. And so there's these expectations as though he's going to be Jameis Winston. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was tough. That was brutal to see happen, and hated it for him. I mentioned Pokey went to the Chargers, by the way. Hopefully Pokey makes it, man. He's electrifying in big games, I'll tell you that. He's got speed to burn, so that usually plays well. We'll see. Maybe he'll make it.
Chargers receivers are oft injured, too. He might have a chance in week 2.
Be on a practice squad and then get called up or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Xavier Smith, the wide receiver at FAMU, he got picked up by the Rams, by the way. I want to mention that as well, which is awesome. I was trying to think. I went through.
Big Coop went to the Seahawks.
You know, the thing with Big Coop, and I want to circle back here for a second because I do want to bring up James Blackman again. I want to make another point about that. Big Coop played all of last year. Tom and I have talked about this a lot, but we had to kind of dodge it during the season. He was never right. And he had a dominant camp going before whatever happened to his shoulder happened. He was, for a while there, almost unblockable. You could tell he was motivated. It was a money year. Low center of gravity, big, strong guy. If he could go all out for, say, 15 to 17 plays, you thought there's real value there.
And he is somebody who loves being a Nole. He got so many questions in the draft process of, you were recruited by Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah.
And you went to Florida State. So I don't regret it for a moment. I love my time at Florida State. I'm a Nole. And I hope that shoulder can get back to 100% because that is a low-key good signing. That's one of those UDFAs that have a real chance to vest and be a part of your active roster. A fully healthy Robert Cooper could be a force on first and second down for you. Not going to do much on third, but first and second down, goal lines, he's got the skill and the strength, I think, to make it at the NFL if he's fully healthy.
So think about he played the entire season hurt. Virtually the entire season hurt, and gave you the reps that he did. There were games where he was somewhat effective, even with that shoulder. Now, against the better teams, he really struggled.
Usually at the start, and then,
as it wore on, he struggled mightily. But that's tough, man. That had to hurt his draft prospects, and yet he did that. You want to talk about loving your program that you're playing for and the kind of culture we've talked a lot about. The other thing to note here, circling back to James Blackman, obviously he was very skinny. His career could not have gotten off to a worse start. He was thrown into a terrible situation. I always rooted for that kid, and I will continue to root for that kid. There was something there in terms of a throwing motion that I always thought if you could get him right, and he had any kind of confidence whatsoever, that he could maybe be something. I don't know about an NFL player, and we'll see, but there are a lot of bad backup quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks that you watch in college that make practice rosters. There may be room for him somewhere. I hope so.
I hope so, too. That is the first real example that I saw in covering Florida State where you watch the pressure mount on a player.
Slowly but surely.
And it finally broke him. Was it at the Sun Bowl? Was that where he acted out?
That was crazy.
And he acted out in what was more of an indefensible manner where you're saying, this is not what leaders do, James. We can't have this.
And he had never shown signs of that. He snapped.
Correct. And there had been moments,
understandably,
the fans booing him on the sidelines. He's got teammates saying, "Hey, calm down, hang in there, James." It's just the weight of the world was unfair. This is where the coaches get to skate, and the players are the ones that have to actually deal with the invoices and pay the bills. That's the thing that sucked. Is Jimbo was the one that failed at his job, not James, but James is the one that had to deal with the brunt of everybody's dismay.
And the most high-profile position, and that's how you're going to have to end up wearing it. The other thing, finally, last thing on the draft, and then we'll talk to Ira here. You could tell, obviously, what Florida State's been working with. Where we're about to be, where we're coming out of. No shot at the kids. I'm not saying anything about Jamie Robinson going in the 5th round or anything like that. He had a great career here, played really, really hard. I think he'll make it and do just fine in the NFL. But obviously, the numbers tell you they didn't have a lot. They did not have a ton of talent here at all. And that's why it was so vitally important that they win those 10 games last year and we continue to raise the floor. And you now know, because we sat here and did the exercise not long ago, projecting how many draft picks for this next season, how many guys will get opportunities in the league that are currently on this roster. And you're talking about night and day from 2 years ago to where Florida State is now. It's quite a turnaround, and it will be represented, I believe, in the draft. Ira Shafel, Warchant.com, joins me as he's wont to do on Mondays. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing very well, man. Very well. I appreciate you joining us as always. Let's take our listeners through what Florida State's going to do at safety, because I know you wrote about it on Warchant.com.
Man, if I knew the answer to that, they are going to have to find at least one or maybe two players. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. That position was not really a position of strength in terms of depth. You know, it's one of the few positions on defense that they don't have a lot of depth. And then two of your veteran kind of backups both went in the portal, Duke Cooper and Travis Jay. And I don't know that either one was a huge shock for Florida State. I think Travis Jay was probably a surprise. I don't think if the coaches are being honest with themselves, I doubt they were too surprised about Duke Cooper. I mean, all of us who watched him practice and then talked to him in the spring, you could tell he was trying to be a good soldier, making the move from corner to safety, but It's not what he wanted to do. And so it's not a shock that he would go on and move. And then, with Travis Jay, I don't know that they expect him to go in the portal, but I also don't know how much you could really count on Travis Jay. I mean, he's been here for over 4 years and he's been eligible for 2 seasons and he wasn't healthy in the spring. So I think that they were already in the process of getting at least one, maybe 2 guys in the portal, and they may have to move somebody else from corner to safety as well. So I think that's going to be a work in progress. But it's leapfrogged anything else into the position of biggest need.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that they would go after a guy like Jalen Key. Is he at Ole Miss now? Is that what he's done?
No, he's yes, he's on official visit to Ole Miss right now. He's officially visiting Florida State this weekend.
Okay.
He released the top 6. Florida State should have the inside track. He went to high school here, played for Corey Fuller at 2 different schools. He played for Corey at Gadsden County, and he also played for Corey at Godby.
Yeah.
So the connection there is great. Now, other schools might be more attractive because Florida State ostensibly has 2 starting safeties in Shaheem Brown and Akeem Dent. That doesn't mean he couldn't beat them out, but another depth chart might look more appealing.
Any other names that if we enter into the portal ourselves and research as we desperately look for that needed depth at safety that might emerge as having either ties to the coaching staff or the area?
There's 1 or 2 kids from Florida that are at other schools, and I don't have the names off the top of my head.
Sure.
When you go to On3 and you look at the portal players by position, there are some safeties that you could see them looking at. I don't think it's a wealth of candidates really right now. I think the guys that enter the portal in the spring, at the end of spring practice, in a lot of cases are guys that lost starting jobs or found out they're not going to be starting. So there's not a ton of attractive. It's not like in December where you're getting a lot more big time players. So I think it's going to be more likely that, a combination of maybe moving a player to that position, and then also there may be grad transfers that come available during the summer who might be more attractive than maybe what's out there. But I think they've got a great chance at Jalen Key. If they get Jalen Key, and if, say, an Azaria Thomas or somebody like that is interested in the move to safety, you might be okay with that, even though I think you might need to get another one too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I was just about to segue to Azaria Thomas, who has the requisite length and size and athleticism. What is he, 6'2", 6'3", something like that? Yeah, he could do that, you think. You feel like he could. I don't know how much he would welcome that move. I have no way of knowing that, I don't suppose. Maybe we can do an interview here soon with Adam Fuller, but I know they wanted to move him inside, and I don't know, how comfortable they would be also starting a player who we were all very impressed with in Quindarius Jones also.
Yeah, and those guys definitely have the measurables. I don't know. There's the idea of of a Jarian Jones or Kevin Knowles or those guys. But you're talking about guys that are 6 foot at best, maybe under 6 foot. That's a tall ask, I think, for a safety, especially if they got to cover linebackers. And so I'd be more inclined, cover tight ends. I'd be more inclined to get one of those longer guys. But even then, it's going to be somebody learning a new position. I would like to think that Azaria Thomas would be open to it. I don't really get the players that are objecting to it. Like Duke Cooper, he didn't want to move there, but he wasn't going to start at corner. And there's a chance he probably wasn't going to play a lot. They're really deep at corner. So you'd like to, think guys would just want to get on the field. But everybody's got to make their own decisions. The good thing for Florida State is, Azaria, this portal window is closed. So ostensibly everybody you've got now will stay. The only possibilities are, guys that have graduated could look to jump in as grad transfers.
Were you surprised by any of the 7 that took it on down the road, as I say? I don't know that there was anybody that was shocking that entered their name into the portal, but there may have been some mild surprises. I'm not sure everybody expected Micah Pittman to do it.
Right. Yeah, no, Micah Pittman's one that's kind of a head scratcher, just because, I don't know that he's a huge commodity on the portal, coming off of a hip surgery.
Yeah.
And I think, being in the system, I think it might have made more sense for him to stay here. But, he's also a guy that, with all of his social media platforms and all that, he may think that he needs to be at a higher level. One of the things about him was, when he complained about Oregon being a run-first offense and they transferred to Florida State, it's like, well, these guys are going to run the ball
a ton.
And so that was kind of curious. I don't know if he's got the best, plans mapped out for himself. Hopefully it works out for him. And then the other one to me, it probably won't have a huge impact, but it's Travis Jay, just because, Mike Norvell has gone to bat for that kid. They've kept him on this, not just him, and going back to, Taggart's staff. I mean, they've kept him in this program for over 4 years, including 2 years where he wasn't eligible. And basically you're just investing at that point in a kid because you want to see the best for him. And so now for him to jump in the portal, and I don't get the impression this was a situation where he was encouraged to leave or they were on board with him leaving. I think he just decided to leave. I don't know. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because I do think Florida State has gone. They've done so much for him, hoping at one point there would be a return on that investment. But, he decided to go in the portal. So we'll see how it works out for him. But I think he's a guy that it would have worked out better possibly for him here, just because, he's already been here so long. He's been in the system. He's practiced. He knows how to pull. He knows the system. I think it would have been better for him to stay here. But, again, everybody's got to make their own decision.
My heart sunk when I saw the news. I've been championing that guy from the get-go, just hoping that somehow, some way they get something out of that athleticism.
Hey, how many times have we been burned on the Warchant Top 40 by Travis Jay? I mean,
never again.
Be the all-time leader in.
Hey, so I got to tell you right now, just for fun, I want you to know I am going to put his name on my top 40 for this year. I'm going to do it for tradition's sake. It's going to happen. I'm going to have him, and Gene's going to go, what the hell, Jeff? You got Travis Jay at 15. You're damn right. It's his year. It's going to happen. Talk to you later, brother. Be good.
Thanks, Jeff Seaman.
Yeah. Warchant.com. Yeah, we have the Warchant Top 40. Wow. This will be an interesting top 40 this year, though, because of all the shakeup and the amount of depth, the amount of guys that are capable.
How do you order the defensive tackle quartet? That's the biggest challenge, I think. Where do you put 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those guys? Not where do they fit in the 40. It's just who is the most productive, who's the most important out of those 4 in that top group.
Well, and also you have some volatility. Like, can you trust Darrell Jackson? He's been at 2 schools in 2 years. He's going to lock it in and play to his ability. He's a real talent, but he's a guy that hasn't been able to stay focused. And
yeah, okay, so here's the exercise. Of those 4 guys, you got Fabian Lovett, Darrell Jackson, Josh Farmer, Braden Fisk. How would you order them? Did I just do it properly, or how would you order them?
You said Darrell Jackson, Fabian Lovett?
I think I said Fabian, Darrell.
Okay.
I don't know what I said, but how about this? Here's how I would order them to start. Fabian.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Farmer, Jackson, Fisk.
All right. Well, we haven't seen Braden Fisk play at this level.
That's why you got to put him 4th.
So he has, even if he's going to be a star, and he might be, he's got an endless motor. he's a guy that, and I don't say that cliche, that dude, I was so impressed in spring for a guy that was not able to go full contact. He was in full pads every day that he could be, okay? Not all guys that can't go full contact are in full pads. He was in full pads every day, and they had him, obviously, just to condition him, do a ton of drills that involved a ton of running. Well, he's one of the guys that raced Mike Norvell every day. So this is a guy who was all in every day. Conditioning sucks. Conditioning's worse than being in the drills, the actual Oklahomas and things like that. That's fun. That's football. I get to hit you. You get to hit me. We get to get after it. I get to put my hands on you and try to throw you around. That's football. Running all the damn time, well, that's long distance. That's track. That's nonsense. It sucks. And he was running constantly. So I give him all the credit in the world. Now, again, we don't know how he'll transition to this level. So you're right. You have to put him forth. If it was solely based on ability and body type, Darrell Jackson's number one, and I don't even think it's that close. But I don't know that I trust Darrell Jackson at this point. I'm rooting for him. I think, obviously, it's in his best interest to get locked in, get focused. If he does, he could be a first-round draft pick. There aren't many people that look like him that can do what he can in terms of size and speed and all that. But because I can't trust him, I have to put him 2.
Yeah, I could see 2. The thing is, I think with Fabian and/or Darrell Jackson on the field, we'll remove Fisk because he's an unknown. I think that means that Josh Farmer, by nature, is going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, which means that he's got a chance to be more productive. And I do believe part of the criteria of the Warchant Top 40 is production, your projection about what they're actually going to do. And I think Farmer might actually show up in the defensive box score a little bit more than those other guys. Even though somebody who takes on a double team is more important.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
When you're looking at TFLs and tackles, Farmer has a real big chance this year to have a ton of production.
That's why we were a little disappointed when all the fiasco was going down there and we had to live through the 48, 72 hours, whatever it was.
Feels like a year ago.
Good Lord. Just glad Sunday came and went. Uneventful, buddy. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A shooting sent a man to the hospital and prompted an FSU alert that instructed people to shelter in place overnight Saturday. According to the university's alert page, FSU PD responded to the scene behind DeGraff Hall at 808 West Tennessee Street, in which they say a large group was involved in an altercation just before 1 a.m. A man pulled out a gun and fired several shots, hitting one person. The group ran from the scene. The shelter in place was lifted just before 2 a.m. This is a developing story. An Okaloosa man is expected to serve life with no parole for the death of his 3-year-old son, according to the state attorney's office. Frederick Franken Sr. entered a no contest plea in his indictment to first-degree premeditated murder. In March 2019, Franken sent his wife photos of their 3-year-old throughout the day. He also emptied his bank account and mailed his cell phone to his daughter outside of the country. Franken then reportedly came home and stabbed his son to death, then stabbed himself. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with highs around 83. Westerly winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows level off around 56. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 83. Dry with temps near average Wednesday and Thursday and highs in the low 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, you know, bears have their own space. Well, you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And science and the rehab process. And you raised the John Desai, I think, at one point. Who was it? Was it
Wes Welker?
Yes, your favorite. Wes Welker returned to action after an ACL in what felt like 30 days. It wasn't, but it felt that way. It was crazy how quickly Wes Welker was back on the field, and you thought, that is remarkable. I had said the same thing about Peterson at running back after his ACL when he came back, and admittedly,
I think he just threatened his knee with a switch, and then his knee got in line.
Yeah, I remember the reasons for our frustrations with him making his way back. I think it was because he was one of the rare players, based on him having beaten his child with a switch, that we rooted for his continued discomfort. We wanted him to be permanently injured, I believe is what we said. But fast forward all this time later, and we routinely see people returning from injuries that just 5 years ago could end their career. At the very least, lead to somebody not being really capable of playing professionally for at least a year. And now guys return. In this case, I'm drawing attention to Bryce Harper. He could return to the Phillies lineup tomorrow. 160 days after having Tommy John surgery. 160 days. How is that even possible? I don't know anybody personally, like friends or family, that have had Tommy John surgery. It sounds fairly in-depth. I know that I joked about the fact that, and I joked because he's fine, but one of my brothers played college soccer, and many years later, he was still playing soccer, and he ripped his knee to shreds playing indoor soccer, ACL, MCL, gone. And it was in the 90s, and he had a prolonged rehab. He's a good athlete, and was in shape. Prolonged recovery. It was in the hospital for a long time, a very invasive surgery, the whole deal. And now you got guys with ACLs coming back in time to, they don't miss the start of the next season, and the injury happens in season. What an amazing time in sports medicine. Bryce Harper, 160 days removed, sir.
Well, I think part of that is he does not need to pitch, and he's going to play first base. So outside of turning a 3.63 or coming home on a,
or DH, grounder, he can DH, yeah.
Because he could hit when it was busted up as an arm anyway. I think that helps the term of the recovery process. I don't think he could play outfield right now. Director Matthew could probably correct me. There's no way that he could catch a fly ball in right and then try to gun a runner at the plate if he's tagging. That couldn't be possible. But first base is a unique position along with DH to help aid the process. So I think that's part of it.
It's amazing. The list of people that come back now from injuries that a year ago, or 5 years ago, I should say, meant you were gone for a year or two.
I have an article from the period of time in which Wes Welker recovered in under 8 months from ACL recovery.
Yeah.
Under 8 months.
You weren't buying it.
Full contact drills within 8 months of the injury. And he credited maniacal Tom Brady with helping along the process.
The pliability?
Quote, we'd be out there working and he'd tell people he's good. He can do that. I ran a lot of routes. My body and legs would be getting tired and he'd say, okay, let's run a go here. or one more set of metabolics. And I'd look at him like, really? Are you kidding me? And Tom Brady was not kidding. That's from NBC Connecticut back in the day. That sounds exactly right. You could do that. You can run that route. Tom.
It worked. He did come back.
It worked.
It worked. You can't get mad at him. It did work. I mean, I would have laughed if he'd come back and in the first game blew his knee out. You'd be like, damn it, Tom. We tried to tell you this ain't hocus pocus. None of your water. You and Russell Wilson.
Your space blanket sheets.
Yeah, man, this is not what we do. It's a tendon. It's a ligament. It's a muscle. It's a bone.
No, he can do it because I need him to. That's why he can do it, because I need him to do it. He will.
Oh. Powering performance. Not quite like Tom Brady, but nonetheless, your kids will play better when they go to Power Mill Training Academy. Make it happen. I promise you, nobody at Power Mill is going to tell your kid with a broken arm that he can do it. They're going to make you wait to recover from that broken arm before we engage in this summer's baseball camp or softball camp.
I'd continue the read and the probables and not look at the Oscar Pistorius comment in the chat.
Oh, I'm going to look at the Oscar Pistorius. That's a great, great line.
Good. Oh, what they could have done to prevent a whole lot of sadness.
TPE coming through again. Programs for every player at Power Mill. Camps, softball, baseball, you name it. They've got the training program and the instructors to help your son or daughter get the most out of their playing days. That's what you want. You want everybody to be able to be their best so they can have some fun. Do it. Do it. Power Mill. Now, if you would, probables.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Top six. Atlanta leads New York 6-4. Spencer Strider, Denny Reyes.
Wow. We're within 2 runs of a Strider-Denny Reyes start. Denny Reyes didn't last out of the second inning.
You're battling back,
Come on,
buddy.
Spencer, what the hell's wrong with you, chump?
I think, by the way, you've got game 2 tonight, right?
Yes, I think we were putting the eggs in the basket for game 2 by starting Denny Reyes in game 1.
Charlie Morton going to go for the Braves. Morton! Tyler McGill goes for the Mets. Cubs, Nats, Drew Smiley, Mackenzie Gore. We got Guardians, Yankees, Cal Quantrill, Domingo Herman. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Jose Barrios, Corey Kluber. Giants, Astros, Ross Stripling, Luis Garcia. Reds, Padres. Hey, Luke Weaver. Come on, Luke. Blake Snell going to start for the Padres. He of the thoroughly unlikable Snell family. 0-4 with a 5.48. Sucking.
He was really good in that World Series start, though.
He was great. He was really good with the Rays, period. Phillies, Dodgers, Tawan Walker, and Tony Gonsolin. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. When my Buccos face the Rays tomorrow, I don't know who's going to be on the hill, and neither team does. It is a TBA for the Bally Sports Extravaganza.
You and Millar going to have a side wager?
We should. 2 best teams in baseball tangling.
Before legal gummies. Maybe that's what you could have the wager for.
We got Braves Marlins tomorrow. We've got, you know, what I'm enjoying so far is the struggle that is the New York Yankees. What a shame. Shame. It's a huge payroll to see such mediocrity.
Having some issues, are they?
Yeah, just hovering around 500 there, struggling to score. Just all that money. Finding ways to struggle, lose games. It's tragic. It's tragic. I did mention Domingo Herman tonight for the Yankees.
They need to maybe use some of those Bob Nutting economics in the Bronx. Maybe that'll get him farther.
Old Bob is right now. He's feeling good. He's at the games. He's showing himself at these games now. For a long time he wasn't. Yeah, he's out there waving at folks. Yeah, brought Kutch back. I knew he was going to be great this year. We saw it. He was going to rekindle the magic from 7-8 years ago.
He's Jimmy Dugan in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Chris Myers.
That's right, guys.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And we paid Brian Reynolds. He's out here kicking ass, as I knew he would. That's why we ponied up the hard-earned money that I've saved for you, the city of Pittsburgh, and its loyal fans, this great ballpark. Come out and watch the winningest team in the National League. Why don't you? All hail me, Bob Nutting.
What a name.
Yeah. Robert
Nutting.
I do.
It's like you're off to a good start with the first name, Robert. Strong, and then Nutting. Oh no.
Well,
it went from
financial all throughout
advisor,
middle school, I'm sure.
Well, sure, probably still, but it went from financial firm to used car salesman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No
offense to the Nutting families out there that are listening to the show.
I'm also tired of the. This is an aside. I'm tired of the Philadelphia Eagles winning the draft here. This has got to stop. I mean, why does nobody else understand? You can just draft Georgia defensive players and you win. Only the Eagles figure that out over and over again. Every one of them. Just is there that's the easiest job in the world if you're a GM. Jason, we're up. We're on the clock. It's the Bucks. We need a pick. Is there a Georgia defensive player available? Yes, there's several. Grab one of them. That works. A++. Second round. Any more Georgia defenders available? Yes, there's 2. Grab one of them. Let's go. We're rolling now, baby. That's the Eagles, and it's good. Over and over and over again. It's good. Good work out of you. Sorry about my nose. I can't breathe.
See you on the Smash tonight at 7 o'clock?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
It's me and Ira.
Hey, that'll be fun. You and Ira kicking ass tonight on the Smash. WarchantTV. Good job, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Peace.